Alright, so here's our tips on bike riding. First off, you need a harness. Teach your dogs commands such as stop, sit, stay, leave it, let's go. The release word okay, left, and right is basically what we use. Do not use it on a collar. Collars are not safe at all. Keep them on a short lead like this with handles. Short lead is where he can't get too far in front of the bike, can't lag in the back, which is another reason why I like collars, because if dog's lagging in the back, if you don't have the collar tight enough, the dog will slip out. You have to go search for your dog, or they get loose, and then if you have it too tight, it could potentially choke your dog out and hurt their throat and their esophagus. It's not very safe to use a collar or a long 6-foot lead, because say your dog's in the middle of the road, car goes to turn, sharp corner, and you don't see the car, you got to yank your dog. And if you have them on a collar and long line or flex leash, it's not really going to work. So you need to keep it on an attachment or a cargo rack under the seat. Tie it. I wouldn't tie it here because it'll get tangled up in the pedals down there. So harnesses are pretty much safer, and it also has reflective strips, handle, so you can grab them, handle on the leash. Basket is, we put doggy bags, extra leashes, collars, and harnesses, treats in it. Always use positive reinforcement when you're first training a dog to ride on the bike. You don't want to be negative, because they're going to think the bike riding is a negative. They're going to look at the bike as, I don't want to go there because you always holler at me when I don't do something right. So positive reinforcement, treats, if you use treats, balls, anything like that, tug toys, use that. Don't holler at the dog and tell them, let's go, It's not very fair to them. So that's basically our tips on it. At stop signs, you always want them to stop and sit. Always. Do not let them go. Try to keep going, because they might pull you or something if you're trying to stop. That's another thing. Don't teach them. They don't need to pull when you're walking them. Stuff like that. Just basic. They need to know basic obedience, and then the few extra commands I've already given for bike riding. He uses a heavy harness. Is kind of thick because he's a bigger dog. My female, smaller dogs, they use a lightweight harness because they are smaller and they don't want so much weight bearing down on them while they're trying to run. And the leash doesn't give them too far to go back, too far to come up. So don't ride with the leash at your handlebars, because that's really stupid. Because if the dog goes to pull you that way, it's going to pull you and you're going to fall. And that's just a bad idea. I always tie it off to something, give it at least 12 to 14 inches of length, and use a harness and commands. Bike ride safely, y'all. Thanks.